ex-DNF, ex-supervisor, ex-leaders. You've got a lot of experience. And I leave it to Shaili to begin about the career journey. So, inspire the kids.
Hi. No energy. What? No lunch? What happened? Can I feel the buzz? Hi. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's much better. Are you all happy to be here? Yes. You know, you guys are the chosen ones in the industry. It is luxury which is the future for us, for India and for the world. And it's going to be very, very few people who have the ability to navigate through this complex segment. So you guys are literally the finest. I wish you all very, very best for your career ahead. I come with almost 20 years plus of experience, strictly luxury. I don't understand anything else at all. And happy to be here today. I have navigated through different segments, but all across luxury. I have navigated through hotels, real estate, fashion, largely a lot of fashion, and even various other segments which were core to luxury. A small stint with real estate for camellias, which is the epitome of luxury that we do for sales. But what is important is that we continue to cater to a very discerning sort of an audience, and that is what you all will be gearing up for. I hand you all back to Mr. Gupta from here.
Thank you, Shaili. Very, very kind of you. Mohit, over to you.
Thank you all. I'm a kind of a misfit in terms of how I started my career. So I was a fully trained psychologist, and I am an organizational behaviorist. From my education, couple of years I did a lot of personal Fiat, if you would have heard the name of that car. So since that time, the cars were one thing which I love to sit, love to drive. And one fine day I got an opportunity with another US company, Ford India. A small stint there for 2 years, and from last 10 years I've been with BMW now, selling luxury. For luxury, I can only say it's all about taste. Money, a person who's very rich is not surely a luxurious guy. You might not see them in BMWs or the DLF properties in that case. They might still stay in a very low end, but money-wise they're rich. So it's about, I mean, your bigger role, what you're going to get now is to create that taste for people. Make them learn what is luxury and then you sell it. That's the fun of luxury segment, because you have to create this segment, you have to grow this segment, and if I'm not wrong, this segment has got ultimate and kind of a growth path which no other segment can see in India for next 2 to 4 years. So there is a growth, you are with the right faculty and the mentors, so I think by the time you will come up with the course and everything, you have a world waiting for you. More beautiful.
Very, very kind of you, Mohit. Thank you. Neha, over to you.
Hello everyone. Hello. So good to see you. Like I could imagine like my days when I used to do my MBA, was doing my MBA and I was like sitting just like you and was thinking what to do. Happy that you've chosen a right place and you are like all here with the right mentors. So in terms of luxury, I think this entire space looks very, very glamorous to everybody, and so it is. But at the same time, you need to understand your customer. Yeah, luxury, what makes luxury really different for the customers, and every customer is important. Every customer, we need to, you can say warmly like welcome each and every customer who's walking into us. You need to do the right storytelling, and not just doing the right storytelling to them. I think it's about, you can say, doing the story rightly. And just not luxury is like more about that you need to look at the long-term objectives, long-term thing with the particular customer, and not just like the customer will come and go. Because you need to, of course, like acquire a lot of skills, like you need to be patient, you need to be knowledgeable. And I think like you are in the best hands, will tell you, like will take you in the nitty-gritties that what makes the luxury business itself very special from that of the others. And of course, like Mohit, I was also misfit into the luxury, okay? Because I also have been, you can say, worked into, you can say, multiple segments from that of the telecom to majorly into the like retail sector of the footwear business. And of course, like luxury is definitely a different board altogether, and you need to like really understand your customer to the core. That what is your customer, what is like you need to actually create a very emotional connect with your consumer, whether with the customer that you are handling. So, a lot.
Thank you. Mohit has had a very long journey and it's interesting. But I must sort of, compliment Neha and the others on the dais that we never had, unfortunately, never had a structured program in luxury management the way you guys are having. So we all found our own paths. We all innovated our journeys to learn and create this market, because even if you look at Emporio as a mall, the first luxury mall, it's like already 2008, it's already 14 years old, right? But luxury started happening in India even prior to that. So first Louis Vuitton store opened in 2003. So we're looking at 20 years of journey where there were no properly trained professionals like what you will be by the end of the program. So we have all sort of innovated, we have created our own paths, and it's very inspirational. I was telling you this morning that everyone's had an inspirational journey. So forget me, because you'll see me every 2 hours a day minimum. Learn from these guys, right? So these guys you'll see rarely.
I'll just add one thing to it. When I was joining BMW was the first organization where suits were mandatory, where the couple thing. It took me 2 days to go on to different channels, which color of tie, which color tie will go with which color of shirt, what kind of suits you can wear, because BMW as an induction, I just got to know that it is mandatory you have to wear a suit. But what you have to wear, how you have to wear, what kind of a knot you have to make, it took 2 days. You guys are lucky that there are people who are there to teach you all these things. We have to struggle a lot, and we don't know whether the person who was telling us is right or wrong.
Absolutely.
So you have to make that also that he is right or wrong, but you have to accept it. That's it.
So where Mohit is coming from is that you all need to look the part as well. It is very, very important of the journey that's going to unfold for each one of you from here on. If you don't look part of it, you will not feel at home there. It's essential that you look part of the luxury ambience that we're in. So work on that. That's going to be very critical. Body language and how you carry yourselves is going to make wonders to your career. Okay?
So it's wonderful to be here. I'm Nikhil, Lamba. I've been in retail for about 25 years now. And after I finished my MBA in marketing, I did a stint for about a year in Moscow, in Russia, and I ended up there, worked for a trading company, and I got back and I was looking for a job, and I was not able to find one, because I wanted to be in India and everybody wanted me again back in Russia and back in Moscow. But I kept trying with the newspapers. In our time, we used to have newspaper ads and we used to apply. And I tried because I did my MBA, and then I got into Taj Trade and Transport, which is basically the Taj hotels. But the subsidiary company who looks after retail. So the brand was Taj Khazana. So Taj Hotel, quite in the luxury industry, in the hotel business, they had thought for their own customers. At that time, they had the vision that, we're going to have our own retail stores. So within the Taj property, they had a retail store called Taj Khazana, and we had different kind of gifting products, and we had fashion as well. We had brands like Bobla at that time, and we also had jewelry, and we had Titan's high-end range, and we had leather products. So that's when I worked on the shop floor as a management trainee. I wanted to be a manager. They said, no, you have to go as a management trainee, and I joined them there. And I was happy to be there. And I worked there, and I became an assistant manager, then I became a manager. Manager बनाते नहीं थे वो, क्योंकि salary ज़्यादा देनी पड़ती थी. So I think all of us can relate to something like this. But I did manage to become a manager, looking after Taj Khazana, Taj Mansingh Hotel, as well as Taj Palace Hotel. So post that, I worked into the retail was coming up. Pansi Plaza came up, and there were more opportunities. So each time the malls will keep coming up, more retail will open up, more brands will come up. There'll be more opportunities for all of you. And for good talent, everybody's going to come knocking up to you. So that time the mall came up, and they were looking for somebody for a new brand which was coming in the north, but was established, was Music World. So this was part of RPG retail.
They won't even know about music.
Yeah, no idea.
So, anyways, the industry is gone. I worked with Music World for 5 years, and then I worked another 2 years with Music World by default. And I worked with Spencer's, which is again RPG retail, which is supermarket stores. It's not premium and all, but then I went to Lladro. So Lladro, I started as a brand manager after leaving Music World, and from there I grew into the chief operating officer, and now heading the India business completely. But at the end of the day, it's all retail. So whatever everybody said here is correct. So it's all about detail. It's all about getting things right. It's all about being a perfectionist. It's all about giving that service that the customer really wants and being the best friend to that person. So if you try to sell too much, a person will feel uncomfortable. But if you're just suggesting and you take it in that stride, a person will get convinced and he's going to be there with you for good, per se. So that's how it is. So Lladro, I'm not sure if everybody is aware about the brand. It's Lladro. Lladro, it's a Spanish brand. We make porcelain sculptures, so it's a home decor product. So मूर्तियाँ porcelain की बनती हैं. It's all hand painted in Valencia, Spain. The artists do it. We import them here, and we've got 7 boutiques all over the country where we retail these porcelain sculptures from. So we're at Emporium, we're at Ambulance in Gurgaon, closest from here. In fact, I'm coming from the boutique right now over here. Thanks to Abhay, I said, let me visit my store, which I've been done for a while. And we're at Palladium in Mumbai, Palladium in Chennai, we're in Bangalore and UB City. So we're in the best malls, South City in Calcutta, Taj Krishna Hotel in Hyderabad, because in Hyderabad there's no luxury place right now. So we retail from here. And I think getting into luxury definitely is the best thing to do because you're paid well, there are good margins. There would be, every job is difficult, and at the end of the day you must deliver in terms of sales and the business. That's really important, and it completely depends on you how much you can polish yourself and how well you do for yourself. So a lot you'll have to, everybody's going to give you a lot of things to do, but it's from your inner self how much you could do and come up with to be a strong, successful person in the industry.
So I must add to what Nikhil shared with you that I don't know how many of you researched on the brand, but it's one of the most expensive porcelain giftware items. Each product of theirs would probably, if you take a small, they also make Indian gods and goddesses, and that's how they are extremely successful in India. A typical price bracket would be 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees, something like that.
So we would have products starting right from 6,000 rupees, like a gift product, which would go for weddings, would go for Diwali gifts. So right from 6,000 rupees, so we've got products for 1 crore as well. But yeah, average ticket price, average bill value about 1.5 lakh, 2 lakhs. So there will be sculptures for 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs. And the brand itself is changing. I think that's important. That again, I think we'll discuss because each brand keeps changing with the times. So we're also changing with the times. So we'll have to keep changing. That's the only thing that's going to be constant. Is going to be the change.
But it's with respect to product category.
Product category again, segmentation as well.
So okay, price segmentation.
Price segmentation, categories.
I think most of the brands will go now because of being automobile or
That's coming now.
A lot of brands are going through value changes, product changes.
Very correct. Because everybody is targeting the young. I mean, you're the audience that every brand wants to target. The young generation. Absolutely.
With you guys also, it's more like a complete journey from that of you can say, grabbing you from when 22 years, you are like at 22 years, like we start feeding you the product, what the brand is all about, and like making the brand like really aspirational for you guys, that you really look forward to the brand, that yes, this is the brand that I want to buy, right, that I want to have with me. So yes, that's the entire journey, that's a complete journey, not like just like everybody said, like not every customer is luxury, not riches, not something like
money can't buy.
Money can't buy like that mindset, right?
My question is luxury essential? What they need to understand. Is luxury essential for the customers, or is it just the kind of a dream to have it, and then once I have money, I take it?
But then, that is best answered by what Chanel said. Luxury begins when necessity ends.
Yes.
So it's a necessity for people who are living beyond necessity.
Yeah. So that we as a managers have to create it for them.
Yeah.
And that's the most important work which you're gonna do it in future. Else, no one is interested in luxury if they don't know the difference between the watches. For example, who knew watches will become a kind of a trading now?
Yeah. Now, I'm sure all of you would have read that in China and Europe, where there's extreme, I would say, economic crisis, people are trading their Rolex watches and their Hermes bags to bring in some money to survive.
Also, I know people, they're selling their Rolexes which they bought for like 10 or 11 lakhs, and now it's 30 lakhs. And there are customers who are ready to just hop on those watches.
There are watch connoisseurs because of course Bvlgari itself is a master of, you can say, miniaturization when it comes to the, you can say, watches category. So far we actually hold like 8 world records with us. We started like in the Octofinissimo collection. 8 I will not say now because it's 7 world records now. Because recently one of our records was broken by Richard Mill, right, which is again they have created a watch of that of a thickness of 1.75 mm.
Right.
Okay. So yes, so 7 world records so far, right, that we have created. And yes, right, we are the kings of, you can say, the masters of miniaturization. Whenever you go through the, you can say, Bvlgari watches, like everyone saying, it becomes very, very important for us that how is that we are translating the craftsmanship, the entire, you can say, storytelling behind when the product was being, you can say, thought of, manufactured, and how you are really, you can say, like building that connect with that consumer, because it's not just about selling a product, it's about selling the whole brand, it's about making them experience that luxury, that so that they really take pride that they have this watch on their hand, or let's say that product in their hand.
So largely the success which most brands possess today lies in their understanding of their consumer, which is the bigger part of the game. And for you guys to be successful in what you do, will also have similar sort of DNA that will have to kind of develop, is understanding your customer requirements. And then how do you pitch when you pitch? You know, there's a hotel room which can be sold to a family, which can be sold to an elderly ailing couple, which can be sold to somebody who's going to get married. But the room is same, it's constant. But the pitch varies every time, whether it's a conference requirement or it's a wedding requirement. That is where each one of you comes in and puts forward your brains to say that, what should I pitch for? How do I pitch? What is the requirement a person possesses? And that is where you sharpen your skills here. Yeah?
And customers ask you anything, right? So you need to be like, aware from that how the invoicing happens, how the entire the back function happens. So you need to be like aware of the entire nitty-gritties of the business, okay? Because then only you become the perfect professional to really treat that customer. And that's why, like in the luxury, you will not see the designations as, let's say, salesperson or sales manager, store manager. So it's mainly called as like the client advisors.
Not automobile industry now, but as a luxury partner, you also need to, and which you need to develop right away somehow, is the reading the data. That's gonna help you in long way. Whichever company you're gonna work, whichever brand you're gonna work, if your hands on data, and when I say data, it's like you have to read the trends, you have to make a story out of it. If your hands are good in data, you can actually overcome any customer very easily. So that, is it part of the course also?
So we introduced a program called Digital Disruption of Luxury. I think we were the first in the world again last year. During COVID, we realized how technology is sort of disrupting every function of our life. Right from waking up, right, what music I have to listen to, when should I, what dresses should I wear, everything is being advised through AI.
Right.
So we decided that our students should know these technological terms a little more than what a common student knows.
Right.
So we brought in this digital disruption. A lot of research went into what content should be, spoke to many people in academics worldwide and professionals worldwide. So everywhere I got the feedback, whether it's Paris or London or New York, that technology is being dumped onto the front end, we don't know how to use it. Right? So the challenge always, a new challenge will come up. This morning I was telling this new group that luxury is one sector which will always be investing in innovation. Our R&D investments will be highest. So we will be the first ones to come up with something new. Like she said, they came up with the thinnest watch. And then somebody else came up with a watch thinner than hers. But the first one always remains the first. Right? So that is the beauty of what luxury does, that we constantly think of new methods, new technologies, new customer service approaches, new definitions. Everything has got to be, otherwise the customer will get bored. Like I said, you'll get bored of me, you'll see me 2 hours every day. So you'll come across these people very rarely, so make the best of it and learn, ask them what you want to know besides what you already know from me. Right? So anyway, Mohit, that's a very interesting question that you raised.
Why I'm saying, we are a product company. I sell products directly to HNIs. But if I see 35 to 40% of time goes in data. reading the data, reading the trends, and then targeting the new customers, finding out the new places where I can sell. Because in India, there are many pockets where luxury is still not there. For example, you're in Delhi, right? Just 40 kilometers away from Delhi comes Palwal. You will not find a luxury car. You will not find DLF property. You will not find an expensive watch showroom.
You find big farms there.
You will find big farms, and those are also not farmhouses. Those are fields.
They're just farms.
They're just farms,
I agree with that.
right? You will never find. Do you think they don't have the money?
They have more money.
They have more money than the people staying in Delhi, let's say Friends Colony or Gate Kailash. So you have a lot of pockets to explore. And this segment, I was in Hotelier India Summit in June 28 in Bangalore. And there were all the hotel owners, and their biggest worry is that they're not finding the right tenant. And hotels like Taj, hotels like Soberoy's, Ritz-Carlton, there was a panel discussion on how to attract the talent to the hotel industry. And you are the guys who are already getting ready for it.
Yeah, so there'll be a queue outside, people wanting to hire. Just like, depending
It's a
on
question of
the
supply and demand. And so even the previous group which passed away, I think everyone had more than one option to choose from. And I was telling the other guys are turning down offers from Chanel. I mean, I don't know what to do with these kids.
More
They
than
have
one
all the
option.
Chanel.
That's a good start, guys. That's a very encouraging start.
See, India is growing right now, and the future is very bright here in India. We're in a good country.
Youngest economy.
Yeah, youngest economy.
Fastest growing too.
Yeah. So keeping all this there, I mean, with all the retail shops opening, spaces opening, more brands coming in and everything, so there's enough opportunity which is coming, and you've got to really catch up on this opportunity to the best per se.
Yes, definitely, right? Because I was just thinking of course there was nothing when we started off our careers, it was either the engineering right after what we did our your 12th, right? It was either the engineering, the doctors and all other courses, or just the normal, you can say BScs that we had, IS, right?
UPSC.
But yes,
And for the Bihar and the
Engineers, or the doctors, or the bureaucrats. There was nothing else.
other courses were like, what are you doing?
If you are all about to fail in life, then okay, you can be one of the others.
Teacher बनना.
Kuch
Teacher
पैसे,
बनना.
but not it's only much later that the whole revolution came through. People became very aspirational, and the audience that we target now also started traveling widely. That made a lot of change. They started experiencing luxury when they traveled. They started understanding luxury. From there to here, journey has been not the easiest one, but very, very interesting. So if you all have a flair for reading, like he rightly said, start reading and understanding how the evolution has been. That will itself tell you a lot. There are queues outside Louis Vuitton stores now worldwide,
Including India.
including India.
Gucci as well.
Manish Malhotra doesn't pick up his phone because actually a number of people are calling him to get their dresses made. He charges a phenomenal fee for designing. He charges approximately 25 lakh rupees to design an outfit. Which, is an exception. If you see him at a road wedding show, he will not do that. But other than that, anytime during a regular time in the day, he charges that kind of money. Still, there's a queue. People who are designing stuff, people who are talented, the brands that are doing well, have all had a revolution story. Understand that. Read. God lies in detailing. The day you start to follow this in your life, you will anyways be sorted. Especially in luxury. It is all about detailing. It is about detailing of your product. It is about detailing of your customer. It is about detailing of your brand. It is about how well you understand. How well you are able to personally understand and then be able to relate to that. And then similarly, be able to share that experience or that story or that product details with your customers. If you are able to instill confidence, they buy you first before they buy the product. Each one of you. Okay?
and especially for a brand like us, where jewelry, if I say jewelry is in India, it's every nook and corner. You will have your local jewelers. So what is really making us different? Because in India, people really don't understand what is the difference between a premium and a luxury. That's the biggest challenge that we have. Even a customer, right? Even the persons who are buying 10,000 rupees for them, it's a luxury, which is not the real case. And I think that's the reason you guys are here, that you'll be getting what is the difference between the premium and the luxury brands. And for us also, like selling a 2.5 crores like high-end jewelry, right, to versus what you can get from your local jewelers, like from where your like grandparents, like an entire family is buying. It's not an easy thing for us. But the sales team, right, the entire team that we have, they have acquired those skills in terms of getting patient, in terms of like what Isha mentioned about understanding their consumer, like knowing them what's going on in their life, making a personal relationship, right? Not just like treating them as a customer who's going to this mode. But you need to be very patient with your customers, like once you start getting into the world in this luxury.
Can you imagine how many colors, options available in Rolls Royce? Just a week, like how many color options you can choose in Rolls Royce? Huh?
Limitless.
Limitless cannot be. There has to be a number, right? 100, 600, 700. Anyone else?
Take a wide guess.
You don't
I'm
get
saying-
negatively marked here.
Yeah.
Salad also.
No,
There's powder blue.
Girls can choose both. No, I don't think.
I was not aware what is the difference between a baby pink and a pink. This I
Or a
can.
powder pink.
Or a powder pink.
Or a coral paint, so
No, so this is the new thing. Coral pink is now the new thing. But still, can you imagine? 44,000. 44,000 colors. If we are selling 100 Rolls Royce, or ticket item of Rolls Royce is around 7 crores. If we are selling 100 Rolls Royce, out of 100, 70% are customized. That means the costing will go to 13 to 14 crores. People do customize the cars. People do want the detailing. Next time, whenever you are opening a Rolls Royce picture, you will see in the side there are 2 lines, black lines. People in Dubai just want to customize it, fly people from Munich and UK to get that extra line to make it different, and they pay almost between 30 to 50 lakhs just for stretching that line. That's what luxury is. And that's why I asked, is it an essential thing or is it a taste?
It's almost people we are targeting.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life. We are in a world where 100 crore wedding is a reality. People spend 100 crores for a 3-day event, or even 150 crores. Or the highest that I've done is about 180 crores spent over 4 nights. So there are ways and means of doing it, and that is the customer that we are targeting. So bring yourself up to those realities. Understand the customer. Everything that you will do will bring you back to understanding your product and your customers. What are his likings? What is making them spend? A lot of these are emotional spends. A lot of these are emotional spends. And a lot of these continue to be aspirational spends, where you pay almost close to a CR to stay for a night is still an aspirational spend for a lot of people in our target audience as well. So those are the people. Yeah.
We're talking about is general HNI affluent class behavior. But it would be interesting to learn from these practitioners as to post-COVID what has changed. How has this rich started behaving differently? Why are we seeing suddenly shortage of cars, of luxury cars? I mean, if all of you just Google, you will find that all luxury cars in short supply. Forget luxury cars, even Mahindra Thar is in 1 year waiting. XUV is in 1 year waiting, right?
XUV is
1.5.
22 months.
22 months, yeah, बढ़ा दिया तूने.
XUV 700.
Anand Mahindra कुछ ना कुछ click करता रहता है. So, I mean, those are different strategies, but in the luxury space, when we talk of vehicles above or similar to BMW, and Rolls-Royce is a class apart. So let's just focus our conversation to a more acceptable luxury customer, which is starting at a 50 lakh rupees vehicle and going upward, and then similar. So all these products are in a similar range that we are talking about. What has changed about this customer post-COVID, and what should be our future luxury professionals' approach towards servicing this customer? How is it different for this group as it was for 4 groups earlier?
In terms of our case, if we see post-COVID especially, a lot of youngsters who are joining companies, a lot of youngsters who are starting in, let's say, startup, India is a country of startups. All these young guys, 27, 28, getting a lot of funding, they have their own teams. these guys have opened up the demand now. Now they are very fast. They want to associate with very fast brands and very brands which are like them. So this is one new generation which is coming up. Then there are people who from post-COVID learned that you never know about life, which we were talking about. So they just want to live their life. They don't want to get into the saving medical insurance. Done. They have upgraded their medical insurances. They have upgraded their hygienic things at the home, and now they want to enjoy the luxurious vacation. If you see at the hotel room rate right now, you pick up any hotel from Aero City to Hyatt at Manesar. I remember Hyatt Manesar, the maximum rate I've seen is 7,000 and 8,000.
7,000.
Now that hotel is at 17,000 post-COVID because it's fully sold. Because people now, have you ever seen a Delhi guy going to a Manesar resort on Saturday, Sunday with the family? Very rare. Now you go to all the resorts, you will find mostly Delhi guys who just went out to enjoy with their family.
Staycations.
Staycations. The staycation is the new thing. You go to Manali, you find a lot of people taking work from home, sitting in Manali and working from there. That's a new normal. They are okay to spend the money. Secondly, what we have also done, how well we can make the acquisition of luxury easy for the people. Because no one talks about 50 lakhs now, to be very frank. X-Men coming for 50 lakhs, they might not ask. The question comes is how much I have to shell out every month. We are selling cars on this now, especially for the segment which is like between 50 to 70 lakhs. We are not talking about the ex-showroom. They don't want. They just want every month, every year, how much money I can put into the maintenance. So we made a full package where we said you need not to pay anything for 3 years. This is your monthly installment. You pay this and you're done. So you are getting those, as what I said, you move 40 kilometers away and you have a pocket which has money. So we are now targeting those, and that segment has actually opened up for us. It's a big time opening for us and for Mercedes and for other brands, and we are talking on to it. So again, coming back to the same customers, while taking the delivery of the car, crying. Since childhood, they wanted a car. And when they finally got a BMW, I have so many photos where the customers are crying with their families. I was with TVS unit, the viral fever, which you would have seen on YouTube. And you would have seen the guy with the beard, the main lead actor. He's from Lucknow. When he bought the car, he called us, fiance in Lucknow. And parents were crying. He was crying while taking the delivery of the car. And these are like actors, these are like very emotionally strong people supposed to be.
Was he actually crying or was he acting?
No, he was acting. So I was having a cigarette outside. He was in one corner. Agar usko acting karna hota, I think he would have cried inside the showroom. So I caught him there because I went him to smoke with him and saw it like tears flowing. I said, what happened? We'll just talk after 2 minutes more.
But these are real emotions.
These are really, I mean, the day I will buy a house in a DLF, I will have tears in my eyes also. That's like a dream house to have it. Have you seen DLF compound by the way?
Too long, just come to Delhi yesterday.
Yesterday, right. But you should visit to see the DLF. That tells you that how even a garden is a luxury now.
I think clean air is luxury.
Right.
The course would entail for them to visit.
Yeah, they visit various
brands and.
So for people who have just come to Delhi, I mean, we are talking of a property called Camellias by DLF, which is like 3 kilometers from here on the Golf Course Road. The apartments start at 28 crores. 35 now.
This was COVID pricing.
No, even last week some broker called me that some
I would be distressed selling them.
28 crores starting with that.
The rent is around 5.5 lakh, which is minimum per month.
That's the Magnolias.
Yeah, Mongolia is 5.5 lakh rupees per month.
You know where all this money is coming from? A lot of people are working very hard to generate it. So it's not like it just flows in. It is people like you who have had the right exposure in life and have made the right choices thereafter and have worked their way towards it. Largely. There's family money, of course, there's money from real estate, all that is there. But for each one of you to understand that the numbers that we're talking are not being thrown in the air. One day, each one of you, we at least aspire and we hope and we all of us feel that each one of you will have the ability to afford all the stuff that we're talking about. And you are going to be responsible for yourself to do this, okay? And that is, you have a great platform. It couldn't have been better, literally. Make best of it.
Very nice, sir. I would say very nice of you to say this to the entire team here. That's really nice. Coming to your question on the COVID bit, so I'll tell you a little bit about our brand. A little bit about COVID first. I mean, everybody was completely shocked. Malls are shut. I mean, things are really bad. What do we do? The business still needs to go on. So we obviously had tie-ups with Blue Dart. We did extra tie-ups. We got into a model where it's going to be all virtual. So we were looking at where the warehouse was still open, where the shops were closed. We were offering private previews at customers' homes. You see a lot of rich customers, they don't have the time to come to the mall, to come to the store. So you take the products to their homes. That's where the Indian businesses, they'll come once to your store, but after that they expect the service because they're busy and they have their own time schedules which is there. So we did all this and we were able to generate business because the product was coming into the warehouse. The customer was seeing it over a video call on high resolution images and things like that. So we were giving him service on that front, giving him payment gateways offline. So like in the sense you would send them a payment link. You would click on the link and then you can pay by a credit card, you can pay through your bank transfer. And they made the payment and then we were delivering the product straight away. We also had an online shop, so that was functional and running. So that happened fine. But since we are in home decor brand and it's all about home and making your home look beautiful, everybody was in their homes. So what happened was people were spending more time in their homes, they couldn't go abroad. They're looking at the same wall day in, day out. They're looking at the same bed, they're looking at that study space and all, and they said, you know what, we need to renovate our homes. So currently, post-COVID, what is happening is, even during COVID, and as there were things were there, everybody wants a better looking home. So people are changing their wallpapers, people are changing their lights, people are changing their mattresses, everybody wants a better living. So home industry right now is on a boom. Luxury right now is on a boom. There's a huge amount of money which is coming in every sector. Yeah. And looking at, see what is happening is, so this was the India story and one thing over here, you know, globally right now, who's consuming luxury as a community? The Asians are consuming the maximum luxury. So when I say Asians, who's consuming luxury? The Chinese, the Indians, the Japanese, the Southeast Asian countries, because these are the countries who would buy luxury, and luxury comes from where? Primarily Europe. All the handmade items in France, in Italy, in Spain, all the electronics, cars, Germany, so it's majorly Europe. So Europe is exporting everything and all these countries are importing and consuming all this luxury. So the tourist was not going to Europe anymore because the doors are all closed. So the Indian consumption went up really, really high. Every single brand in Emporio and Chanakya did record numbers because all these people were not traveling abroad, they were stuck in their homes and they were getting service there, they were paying a premium, a higher price, and they were okay with it, but to consume luxury within India itself. So everything went on to a boom. And post-COVID, again, the sales numbers are only going up right now, they're not really coming down.
Momentum is being picked up. There was a supply chain crisis as well, so I mean, most brands were able to clear their stock.
And then the Asian markets were covering up because all these sales which was happening in Europe was not happening. And the extra sales started happening within China and India because the consumers were there and they were not traveling anymore. And that's how the business went up domestically, per se.
Imagine a brand like ours in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and we do have limited sales routes. Okay, and stores were closed, e-commerce was not working, so it was only the relationship. The client advisors that we have, they have their relationship that they were doing the personal viewings, they were taking that, you can say, and they were so charged up like from inside that whatever the catalog, the digital catalogs that were coming in, they were presenting those, right, to all their clients. They were doing like on viewings. And in fact, like from our strategy perspective also, we are also, you can say, going to the customers. Because luxury, the luxury consumer is very, very different. If you need to take hold of a person like Nikhil, right, or let's say even their team to be sitting out here, right, it's not easy to find out, you can say, find out their times. So you need to really go where your consumer is, and that's why we have been like now. We have recently collaborated with the medias, and we've done a good event out there. Okay, we really put across the world record carnets that we have got there, and it is like doing really fundamental, you can say, change like for our brand, because we are also getting the new prospects for ourselves. But yes, you need to be very patient with these prospects. You can't call them like all the time. You need to be like, you need to wait for them.
So WhatsApp is going to be your #1 channel,
Yeah.
and then something else which will come up on the WhatsApp. So majority of the sales happens through WhatsApp. You'll be amazed, but it happens on WhatsApp. Now somebody already knows your brand. Let's say somebody knows Bvlgari already, they know Lladro already. So they've already bought products, they've tasted the brand, they understand. So from the image itself, they will get to know this is what the product is, and they'll give an order, not even looking at the physical product, but on the image they'll give you the order because they've tasted the brand, they know what it is. And it's you, just team members like you in on the shop floor, who understand each customer's taste. So they know if this particular product has come in, I need to target X, Y, Z because this is their taste of product. And as soon as you tell them that this is come in and this is similar to what you had bought earlier, it complement that other product, give it to me, send it to me, thank you so much. And then you also have limited editions. So limited editions will be a product which is limited to those number of units all across the world. And there will be a huge, if that product is a successful one, people would like to possess it, otherwise it's going to be too late. You will not be able to possess it anymore. So with that limited edition, they'll say, I want that limited edition, please get it to me. And you'll book orders, you'll pre-book orders, you'll take advances, you'll ensure it comes in, which is there. And that's how you get sales, and you'll earn very, very nice incentives as well for doing those kind of sales. So you'll have to create that awareness, you'll have to do things like that to do that and keep the customer happy and going.
And you need to understand what is the key consumption periods are. Let's say you need to know the occasions. We all know about the Father's Day, Mother's Day that's happening, like Valentine's, like all these cross-category sellings are even. Let's say if you have you can say male customer with you, you can always like do a very, you can say, if you develop that kind of relationship. So when are you buying from them? So there's a lot of cross-selling also, especially in our business, that really happens.
So as a marketer, she's absolutely right. There will be a calendar where every single festival, any single opportunity is going to be exploited to the core to ensure that some sales can happen and we can get something out of it.
You create new categories, you create new days.
New categories,
Your grandfather's day or grandparent's day. Something or the other keep coming.
My experience in sales, especially luxury sales, before I was not connected with sales directly, I always summarize that relationship comes before the sales.
Yes.
Right, and secondly, out of mind, out of sight. These are like old age formulas which should be from 80s and 90s, but in our field, what I always find challenges with my teams also. What was the last time you touched base with the customer? If he's not buying, that doesn't mean that you will not send him a WhatsApp or you will not wish him something. So when you are into the field, please ensure don't start selling. First, make the relationship. Sales will happen afterwards. I can tell you my experience at times. I have to just talk to a few guys whom I share a very good relationship, and I get 5-6 leads for my dealers without doing anything now. These guys come and tell me that I need a car in this city, I need a car in this city. What we do, we meet them. That's it. So just start making relationships from now on, even between you guys. You never know, you are in brand X, she is in brand Y tomorrow. And you guys need each other's support. You never know. Networking is the key.
Network works really well because you get to know from the other brand what they are doing. You would want recommendations on agencies and stuff like that, and certain customers and tastes. So that really kind of helps per se each other. I think you should be asking questions now because you know what? If you ask specific questions, you'll be able to answer them. You'll get answers, and it'll be nice. So I think you should ask questions. Anything comes to you on your mind, jitni bhi shyness hai, it has to go to the dustbin. You will have to start talking.
See, definitely,
You have
like,
to develop your personality further. Sorry.
It's fine, it's fine. Nikhil, you're absolutely right. I think, right, that's what you really need to say. If you are sitting here, like with a purpose in your mind, that what is that you want to do? Okay, so I think it's very important for us, for you guys also, to just come and ask, right, whatever is going around in your heads, so that you get the clarity from us.
This is exactly what I told them just before in the morning. I told them that you have to just forget your shyness. You have to ask. You learn only when you ask. If you don't ask, you won't learn anything.
And the biggest learning will come from your customers. Whatever you were saying, product knowledge, data study करो, ये करो, जो customer आपको data और product knowledge देगा, वो कहीं से नहीं दे सकते. And some of these customers might get irritating because they might just take a couple of hours or even more telling you their stories and everything.
But the internet
Yeah, yeah,
they know more than
that's
our sales guys
Yes.
about the product, and they will come and tell, no, this, you are telling me wrong.
Yeah.
This product is not this step. And then it's a ego war and start happening. So this is the biggest problem with this internet coming. Many things have sorted out, but the information is too much available now.
And YouTube, like especially in automobile industry, like there's so many bloggers, so many you can say, right?
Everyone is
The real,
influencer.
right, the drag races that it's started happening.
Anyone will take a car, start telling those 10 features only, and it becomes a YouTube video
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, please ask questions.
So this time I was not carrying a notebook.
See, when I think they're making digital notes, what I see over here is on the phone, I think they're writing notes. So
She's writing on a paper.
yeah, so that's nice. That's old school. I would still do the same. I'm still carrying a diary over here. So when you, all of you are going to be interviewed, it's just not going to be one interview. It's going to be 3, 4, 5. Because in luxury, what happens is even the country head is going to interview you. Because you know they're cherry picking the best team members that they want. You have to clear all those particular interviews. Otherwise, you're not going to be on the shop floor, because every single team member will be viewed by the senior most person in the organization to show that you're getting the right fit. That's very, very important. So, like everybody said, body language, how you're speaking, your confidence, all this is going to speak a lot about yourself. And they would also look at consistency, because right now, what problem most of the brands are facing is on attrition. So, since the number of good people are less, they're getting more opportunities and they're moving on for better salaries and things like that. But my personal view is that you should stick around in one place for a longer period and just keep moving for more salary. It makes more sense, and our brand per se has been very successful in this, and the team that reports into me, like the business managers, let's say the Bombay team or the Bangalore head, the Bangalore South head, the North Delhi NCR head, and the Maharashtra West head, I mean, they've been working with the company for more than 12 years. So I mean, they're not moved on. They're still to the brand, and they love the brand, and they're passionate so much that they're married to the company completely, and they're not going anywhere, which is a big bonus per se. But lower level, I mean, obviously a lot of people are leaving and they keep getting jobs and all that bit. But yeah, I would still say work for a longer period in a single organization, and it's not going to be easy, but it's fun learning everything at the same time. Please ask questions. We'll start asking you questions.
Guys, it took me 15 years to sit where I am today, right in the world of luxury. And you are really the lucky ones that you will start your careers with the luxury. You can say brands that everybody aspires for.
Okay, so I have a question, like in this luxury industry, so like is there any one drawback that every industry faces, like whether it's automobile or like the fashion industry, so is there any one drawback that every industry faces?
Right now.
I think she's asking from a person's perspective. Is there anything wrong in working with someone different? You love your thing on the shop floor. So it's a very difficult one, but why do you want to know a negative thing about a particular job? I don't know, maybe you have to stand on the shop floor for 8 hours, 8.5 hours, 9 hours. Maybe you'll have to do a double shift if your colleague will not come in for work, then your manager will request you that she's not coming or he's not coming. Can you please cover up? And you might have to work on an off day. But I think that happens everywhere, every person. I mean, see, you're in an environment which is air conditioned, it's nicely, it's comfortable, which is there. You have no premium customers coming in. You won't have, I mean, it depends where your store is located and what brand you work for. If it is in a mass mall on a Saturday, Sunday, there will be too many people coming in, or curiosity कि ये क्या चीज़ है, ये बताइए, ये समझाइए, इतना महंगा क्यों है, and stuff like that. Apart from that, not really any negative things in this industry.
But what I understood, that you have to do hard work, much more hard work. If I compare being a sales consultant at Maruti, let's say, he doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to stand there and sell the cars, right? In luxury industry, you have to upgrade yourself from time to time. The day you stop upgrading yourself, or the day you start thinking that I am the master now, I am the master, that day you're obsolete, you are out of business. So, for example, watches. Every third year, there is a great new technology being introduced in the market, and you have to learn it. Because when you talk to the customer wants to know what is special in this. What if I buy it, how will it add to my personality? If you don't learn about those things, if you don't learn about the trends in the market, if you don't learn about the product, you will be out there. So that's one area where this luxury industry will keep you on your toes always.
So he's right. So summing it up, what he's saying is, पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी, product study करना पड़ेगा, brand study करना पड़ेगा, and you will have competition amongst your other colleagues, which is there. So another challenge would be in a luxury store, frontline is very easy to get in, but to become a supervisor or a manager, it's very, very difficult.
And since we guys deal with a lot of, you can say, celebrities and all of these, you can say, very high clientele, you really need to present yourself as a brand advocate, and you need to really put yourself with a very much, you can say, confident and a conviction way. Because I tell you, like, when we were, you can say, doing this entire thing for Twinkle Khanna, when she bought that 2.5 crores necklace from us, so that was one of the times, like, that we were not able to import those, you can say, that particular necklace, because there were the customer hindrances. So at that time, like, the client advisor, the one who was handling Twinkle Khanna, she was like that strong enough that she has said, if this is not happening, please ask Akshay sir to help us out on this, and we will get this cleared for you. So you need to really be confident in what brand you are working with, and you need to put across yourself rightly. Not in a negative manner, but at the same time in a very, you can say, like, confident way to all these celebrities. Otherwise, like, we all know, right?
So you're going to be the brand ambassador, you're going to be your brand talking, walking, sleeping, dreaming. You have to portray the best out of your brand. So that's how you're going to be particularly judged. So growing in the up is difficult, because then you have to be the very best of yourself. So,
and not every sale matures, so you need to be very patient.
And sales pressures are definitely there. Right now, there's a boom, there could be a recession, there could be other issues which is there. But again, you see, with luxury, it's always good because people who have money, there's so much of disparity of income. The ones who are rich are getting richer. With COVID, they became even further richer. And that is a segment you're kind of catering to. So, यहाँ पे इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, but yeah, there would be other things. But otherwise, it's a good place to be in. Any other question?
Like I said, the morning is passion. So you have to develop passion for the brand. Without passion, you can't sort of camouflage that. Okay, next.
Guys, no questions. Seriously, you starting with course in such an interesting course?
Yeah, Muskan,
To ask you that we have so many brands here. Like we had one when we were starting the batch, when we were the new batch. Now we have a new batch. So I want to ask you all, like, what is one of your favorite collaborations that your brand did? Like I read about a lot of collaborations the past semester. So any of your collaborations?
Brand, but there are a lot of designers. So there's a designer called Jaime Hayao. So in Spanish, like Lladro, I'm saying Lladro, but it's L is here. So when I'm saying Jaime Hayao, so it will not be H, it will be J. J is her in Spanish. So Jaime Hayao is a designer, and he was also a creative director long time back. So you work with these designers who would do a special creation. So it was like a Jaime Hayao piece. So they came up with a particular product called the Guest. So it's a very funky looking sculpture. You can Google Guest, Lladro, Jaime Hayao. So you get to see that particular sculpture. So when you do collaborate with a designer, then a lot of people the media starts looking, you get a lot of PR coverage, and the media is going to look at you, and a lot of other people are going to look at you, and a lot of more people into design, fashion are going to be looking at it. Oh wow, what a wonderful thing to do. So you would definitely get a push for your particular product. Similarly, we did collaborations with Olga Hanano, which is a Mexican designer. So you keep doing some collaborations with a particular artist. Lladro doesn't do much because it's majorly Spanish sculptors that we work with our very own, but still, if there's an opportunity, then you would do something. Similarly, we did something with Marcel Wonders, who's again is a very good designer, and we did special kind of lighting and porcelain through him. So those are very successful ones we've had. They've won a lot of awards as well. I'm sure BMW would do limited editions and some
Not limited
like
edition.
that.
I mean, we have like different customer groups. So for few, we might do a culinary experience. A culinary experience is like going to a 5-star, 6-star hotel with a 6-course meal or 12-course meal at time, which is with the finest liquors and people explaining them how they've been made. So this is for those people who love kind of dining kind of event. Then at the same time, you will also see us creating an event at a BIC, with the International Circuit, where we have our most expensive and the most powerful cars are just burning the rubber. But there you have a different set of people who are coming. So it's not one collaboration. It is, again, as we all have said, that you have to understand your customer, then you have to create different experiences. You cannot fit everyone into one.
But there must be some favorite.
My favorite
Yeah,
would be the collaboration time with Sachin Tendulkar. The kind of...
You did with Sumit Verma many years back.
Sumit Verma was another, but the time Sachin was there as a brand partner. It was very emotional connect of people. The way he used to carry the BMW brand, the way his own story of buying the first BMW, which was a true and not a story. So that was a time when you have a very authentic partner. So that was one of the brand association which I have enjoyed, and we have seen a lot of customers talking to Sachin and becoming BMW fan. And by the way, just to tell you, Sachin is not only the god of cricket, he knows more about cars than a mechanical engineer. I can tell you that on paper. I mean, the biggest and the highest technicians sweat in front of him when he talks about the engines and the tires of the car. So that's a kind of that is one thing which I enjoyed being partner with Sachin.
We also did something with Sachin Tendulkar. We had come up with a batsman and porcelain. The product didn't do that well, but the first one was given to Sachin Tendulkar at his home in Bombay, where all the BMW were parked outside privately. And he was very happy to receive it. And he had all the Lladro Ganeshas and his thing, and he was showing his other products. And he bought another horse from us, which is a very beautiful horse that Lladro makes the best porcelain horses. So he also had bought that along with it while we gifted him. So he's a very gem of a person, very nice.
Very nice person.
So perks are you get to meet some nice famous people in retail, which is there.
And for Bvlgari, I think I don't know if this is a collaboration per se, but we launched a very exclusive, you can say, line, right, when the entire, you can say, global team was also very, you can say, right, Sharjah while we were launching this. So it was the Bvlgari Mangal Sutra that got launched last year. So it has why we had thought of going a little unconventionally, right? Because like I said, every nook corner we have a jewelry store out here in India. But again, Bvlgari Mangal Sutra is one of our, yes. So that's one of the stars for us, and next year you will see more variations, not just in the other, you can say, Indian categories as well. Okay, that's what everybody's saying, you need to evolve your brand, you need to keep innovating. So with Priyanka Chopra wearing the Mangal Sutra on a book cover, then you can say working with a lot of wedding influencers, and yes, it was, and then Yami Gautam, we have really Bvlgarized, so you can say Bollywood weddings.
All these customer ye maang raha hai. Customer ye bol raha hai. So putting all those things, we give them inputs, the parent to the brand, and they would make it, and they obviously want a commercial model ki kitna bechoge, kaise karoge, because in luxury, for making any single product, the amount of work that goes in, the amount of research that goes in, the amount of pain that goes in. So if the product doesn't do well, it's going to be a very huge loss for the particular brand. So a lot of work goes into making it. We also give them a lot of inputs on which particular product is needed for our market, and they make it successful. And the latest success I can share with you is we've come up with Lord Srinathji. So Lord Srinathji is a limited edition, high porcelain, only 499 units in the world. We in India, we gave them this feedback about 3 years back, we should do a Lord Srinathji. It's a niche god, I mean everybody would not worship Lord Srinathji, but the Gujarati community, the Marwadi community, the Ambani family, Reliance, I mean all of them completely follow this particular god, and they worked 2 years on this project, and we work closely with them, how they're making it, how the god should be, and all the detailing, the colors, the craftsmanship, the painting, the everything. So all that was done, and finally the product was launched, and it's a huge success. Today we have more demand than the number of pieces which are made right now. So it's a huge success thing, and we're happy because we've been a part of it. All our team members have been part of it. So you also get this huge amount of satisfaction and along with that passion that you know what, you created something and it's such a big success.
And of course, you'll be learning like on all these that what does the marketing mix looks like if you want to launch a new product, right? Because a lot goes behind it about like one TVC or let's say one social influencer broadcasting about your brand. Because to us, those people are actually the amplifiers. So what lies really is the right story, right? That can really do, or you can say create a wow effect for your brand, like, and that can actually, while you are like listening to that story or the script, you really get wow with it.
It looks easy to listen, but when it actually happens in the companies, it takes a lot of hair out of your head. I would just simply put it like that. Lot of frustration, strategies, lot of going back and forth about the same planning. So it takes. So be ready for all those things also.
And you need to really be strong in while you're pitching for something, because you really like we already mentioned, you need to go through like complete details.
Yeah,
right?
I'm learning that right now because I'm also an entrepreneur myself. So like pitching to customers and pitching my company to customers is a very difficult task. So I'm also learning and I'm in the process of it. Yes.
So welcome to the commercial world. And we as a brand collaborate every year. We have new panelists, new brands, and so new collaborations. So collaboration is a game for survival in the luxury business. Network. Your network is your net worth.
Ma'am, how about you?
One of the best collaborations or the most interesting ones that I remember would be one we did with Sabyasachi. So I set up a company called the Wherein company in India. And we worked with almost all the key designers that one could think of in the bridal space. So most interesting one was with Sabya because of course what he brings to the table in terms of the talent that he possesses. Also this innate understanding of women's psyche, you know, that's the trick to success literally for him. So he was collaborating with I think a couple of brands himself at that point of time. So he was in a space where he was just like, okay, we collaborated with him to do an entire design for the Vogue bride. So he did the outfits, he did the jewelry, he did the entire shoot which was conceptualized. So the man is genuinely a genius and self-made person, totally. Comes from a very, very humble background. He showed us the house where he was living in earlier in his erstwhile days, to the journey that he's been today. So he still visits his aunt, uncle, irrespective of their financial status or anything. He's very, very humble, extremely hard worker. We worked with him without blinking an eye for 2 days straight out. Nobody slept, nobody, including him. He was taking breaks in between at about, I think the first break he took was at about 1:15, where he said that whether you are hungry or not, we'll die of starvation. Let's eat. That was the first break that we took. Second break we took was at 4:15 in the morning. Third break we took was at around 11ish, where we said, okay, let's just give it a break. But the content was so interesting and engrossing that we didn't mind that at all. And genuinely the guy didn't blink an eye. And this happened through the next day and practically through the next night. Next night around 3:30 in the morning is when he said, okay, I think we have it all together. Non-stop, in one room. In one room. And what we see of him is, we see him on a pedestal, we see him on the shoots. That's one aspect of success that we see, the celebrities. But what goes behind is a very different story. So that was one of the most interesting collaborations that I can think of that we've done.
I am a big fan of Leela. Big fan of Leela. I've been there many times and I love the hotel. I love it.
Totally. I'm with you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, anybody else entered into the Japanese market? So what's the future BMW Nepal? Any idea about that or any kind of?
Nepal is controlled by a different market, not by India. It's taken care by Singapore. But Nepal, because Nepal automotive industry is a full import automotive industry. They don't have plants for any of the brand. So the cars are very expensive because you import and the import duty is also too high, and the money transaction, if you take a Nepali rupee to Indian rupee or Singapore dollar, it becomes very expensive. So it will not flood it. It will take its own sweet time, because right now cars like Fortuners and Endeavours and other cars from these manufacturers are still there, because these itself are very expensive cars. For example, a Fortuner will cost you somewhat around 1.6 crore because of the transaction value, the import duties, and the money currency powers. So that itself is a 1.5 crore. So a BMW will cost,
it's like 4 to 5.
4 to 5 crores. So it's going to take some time. It's a very small market, very niche market. It will take some time. There is a lot of tourism. That's why you see that we do not have an office in Nepal right now. It's totally managed by Singapore, not by India. But it will grow. That's the future. Cars will get into it. People will buy it.
I'm a king. So the first generation of independent India struggled for the basic necessities. If you look at the movies, that point in time, Roti Kapda Makan, that is what the movie was, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. That's all we used to talk about. Then came the second generation, or you can say the Gen X. When the second generation came, Roti Kapda Makan was already done. So they bought the houses, they bought the cars, they started looking at a little better lifestyle. They built what is called lifestyle. And now your generation, which is coming up in the forefront, you're looking for a better quality of life. And COVID has accelerated that need. So you say, "Kal ho na ho yaar, I might as well buy a BMW today," right? So that's the psychological background to, yes, that's the psychological and economic background to a country's evolution and consumption evolution. It happened in Nepal.
It will going to take some time, but slowly it will be improved for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So basically, I'm from Chandigarh, and I started my journey from Chandigarh only. So it's been 5 years now. So I was a student when I started my influencing, and it was just for like hobby, or you can say passion. But eventually things went well, and I started working with quite good brands. Started with normal brands, then premium, and now I work with luxury brands as well. So I worked with JW Marriott and Noor Mahal and a lot of brands. I mean, there are a lot of brands if I line up. So all in all, I can say that's something which inspired me to come here, because luxury actually inspired me from there itself. When I started working with those brands, I realized that luxury is actually something level up thing which I actually need to inculcate in myself. So there how I got to know about Abhay sir, and here I am. So that's journey from automobile industry, and if I want to switch to some other line for like you can say hotel brand or any other brand, so is there any disadvantage if I go switch?
You mean a career or job?
If I start sales, if I start my sales in automobile or like any.
There was a Harvard business review a couple of months back. What are the two noble professions in the world? One is sales and the other is coding. Sales is sales at the end of the day. Coding is coding at the end of the day. You sell a luxury, you sell a house, or you sell a Mangal Sutra. If you know the right skill of selling, you will sell to yourself. And especially I will tell you, hotel industry we prefer. I personally prefer to have sales guys from hotel industry and aviation industry. So I don't think so there is any problem. In fact, that will widen your career horizon, and that will going to help you after 10-20 years when you have multiple experiences of industries, and then you become an expert level. So don't worry about that. I mean, switch the industry, but stay in one industry to acquire as much a threshold level of information, so that you know about it. Just don't switch it too soon.
You have a live example: hospitality, real estate, big wedding studio, what all.
understanding the human behavior to the machine
I'm
behavior.
looking forward to work with Leela as well. Sure.
Leela and we are like a very strong association of everyone knows about it.
It's basically the customer.
Yes, ma'am.
Leela would be very happy to work with you.
I would be more happy.
I think it's a great platform where you get yourself up and many roles will be good. It should be hotels, it should be automotive, it should be various lifestyle projects that will come in. India is at a stage where many things are going and many things are coming. Indian customer is exploring new avenues. So this is a good time and you are the right time in the right place. So many things that we don't even conceive of, the newer brands are also coming in. A lot of new brands are coming in.
And also at
Various
one
lifestyle brands.
I mean, to the corporate office of Leela. It looks like you are entering into a 5-star room. So it's not that you are only serving the luxury. You are first experiencing the luxury in office. I mean, each and every room is very royally done. The names are very royal. It looks like that you are in the lobby of a hotel. When you sit inside the meeting rooms, it feels like that you are actually into a conference hall of a 5-star or a 6-star hotel. So learn as much as possible and change the market.
No, definitely, but Leela like aspires you like to be because it's all related to luxury. But I would also want to give an example. Let's say one of the you can say corporate houses, which is like a production house of you can say all these grease guns and everything, gross tools, which is next to your on Manesar, next to the Haldi dance. If you go to that corporate office, right, you will find that as a luxury hotel. The kind of entire you can say interiors of they have done. And that's a plant they manufacture all these grease guns and everything out there. Yeah.
You see, in luxury, Jasmine, as she said, you learn to deal with the customer. It's the same customer staying in Leela, tries a BMW 7, buys a Lladro and buys a Bvlgari. So eventually you make the human connect. And once you make the human connect, it's the relations which sell the brand. It's not the brand which sells the relations. So it's really up to an individual. Like Mohit said, first build relations, commerce will follow.
So through influencing, I've created a digital connect with my followers. Now then I can create a direct connect with them.
Direct connect will always helpful.
It's far more.
Everything in India is
emotions.
You'll see after 2 years, 3 years, similar brands would want you because you've got a better customer database. You know, those people for your relationship with them is what you are going to be. How many people you think you know on your database and would you be able to bring business to them? And so you'll be valued more. So इतना लोग switch करते हैं, but इतना ज़्यादा switch नहीं करते हैं. I would say उसी industry में रहते because you keep growing in the same organization. If you're good, if you're not growing, then you can get into some other thing which is there. But if you're within that, it becomes easier for you to handle. So handling cars, if you remain within cars, it's easier for you to handle. You go into some other industry, you're learning everything again. So it depends. If you get into strategy and all, then obviously you can go anywhere else and you don't need thinkers and all. But how many of you actually want to do sales and how many of you want to do marketing? Have you ever thought about this? They could do both sales and marketing from this course, right? They could do product also, you could do logistics also.
We already have students, Cartier and logistics managed by us.
Right.
So they go through so many subjects that they can start in any kind of a job role. But they are mentally prepared to start from the customer interfacing or front end.
You need to identify where you, because the demand majorly is in sales because everybody needs more people for selling and you earn handsomely in sales because there's a lot of sales incentives that you will get for that. So that's the thing which is there. But while you do your course, you need to keep thinking that, am I a planning person? Am I a strategic person? What is liking me, which is there?
And
Look at what you're doing now.
yes. And the last day, because after the second semester gets over, I just called my father at late night and I said say HR nahi hoga. Okay? I am a very talkative person, a very outgoing person, so marketing is the place for me, right? So I want to do marketing, and I changed my course the very next day. I switched over to
You
marketing.
keep saying what
Absolutely.
People are doing engineering and sitting at some strategy goals.
But you discover yourself as you grow in life. You discover new things and you learn new passions. So nothing to worry, you're still too young.
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
I got into retail out of default. I mean, it was not really planned per se. The retail organized me. The salaries were very low at that point in time. But now there's a sea change. And that worked well for me because I saw the unorganized retail and then organized retail, and then kept changing from a premium brand to a luxury brand and different things which is there. So it all works. You keep learning, and you keep learning from your team members, you keep learning from your bosses, and if you get a good boss, then there's nothing like it because he's going to teach you so much and you're going to enjoy so much working with him. So you've got great connects with your ex-bosses and everything of that sort. And they become friends ultimately for you, and they'll always guide you well and stuff like that.
Sure.
So this really helps.
Your smiles are now going down. I think the time has bypassed.
We are more excited telling you stuff.
It's
got to be the other way around. That you're going to be absorbing what we are saying. I mean, we are super excited.
How much with the retail? Okay, next, come on, Vandana. What happened to you?
Working with Leela, and you then worked in the event company as well, and with the properties as well. So what makes the difference? I mean, in the hospitality sector, and what is the major difference between the luxury and the hospitality sector, if you can tell about now, and about the journey of yours? Yes, ma'am?
Real estate, I think.
Real estates and the event management.
So, like he rightly said, so there is one customer. Where does he live? He probably lives in phase 1, he lives at the Magnolias, he lives at the Aralias, he lives at the Camellias. The same customers going to one Horizon to work, then to Leela to eat food, and then goes to Emporio to buy stuff. So there is a synergy. If you have decoded that person, then you could be serving him in any aspect of his life. Okay? But if you are unable to decode him right, then all of these will be consistent failures. So the catch here lies in understanding the psychology of a UHNI and being able to service him right. Then you can sell him a hotel, you can sell him a vacation at, Udaipur, you could sell him a good car, you could sell him a good house, you could even sell him probably great education for his kids, you could sell him various experiences, you could sell him the various gifting options, which could be the Yahoo, which could be the Rolex, which could be the Chanel's. So it is all synergized. And then I've been doing this over 20 years now. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. So it's easy. It comes to me naturally. And I've learned it probably also the hardest way. I started with the Ubers. And when you work with the Ubers, it's actually like joining a school which teaches you. Okay. Then I've launched Mandarin Oriental, which is Ananda Spa in India, where nobody knew what is a spa. And to launch that, so I did it with a gentleman by the name of Ingu Schweder. He heads a company called Goku Hospitality, and Goku is the company behind all the spa in the Vilas properties of Ubers. So that is where you start to form connects. So it's a whole journey, and each of these journeys have not been very easy. They have so a new launch has been like having a small baby of your own, and you take care of it day in and day out. There are no hours to it and there are no weekends to it. You're just nurturing it. So that's how you make a place for yourself in the industry also. So at this point in time, I can be very open to all that's coming your way. Absorb and see what works best for you. You don't know what is in store for you. Do it with a very open mind. All industries are good, as long as you're giving your 200% to it. And there are no shortcuts in life, genuinely. The smart work is great, but there are no shortcuts. Okay? Thank you so much.
Vandana is mentioning the relations that she formed at Pomeroy's, which took her to Leela and took her to wedding and to real estate. Because the customer starts trusting what the other product category which she is proposing. So he will then depend on the advice given by her because he trusts her as an individual. That's why all of us are saying that build relations.
You're also going to recruit like-minded people. They're going to see that you can fit and you can get into their shoes and be like them, and then is when you're going to get recruited by them. So your personality has to be such where you understand the brand completely, and they're going to mold you into it and then tell you this is what is expected. And obviously your ideas will also be encouraged on that front.
our business, it is the attitude which is more important than the aptitude. Aptitude can be taught, attitude cannot be taught. Attitude is internal to you. Commitment comes with attitude. So, anyway, I'm here next 10 months to give you gun. Anybody else?
Want to build a brand, what segment would you choose in earlier?
In all your, I think I'll choose lifestyle because that would help me leverage all the good stuff that I've been exposed to. Overall lifestyle, which will have real estate, which will have hospitality, which will have fashion, which will have styling, which will have events. So largely lifestyle as a segment, I would say. Does that answer your question?
In fashion, what segment would you choose? For example, if you started producing tie, manufacturing tie, for example.
Dress men up, I think.
But you can make ties now.
He wants to make tie.
I will do ties. I will do everything that's related to men rather than women. Men are less finicky, visibly women. Okay, men are
easy to please.
Easy to please, and they have a lot of clarity of thought also. They're faster decision makers. That's why, and plus there's a huge scope to to enhance their looks. Vis-a-vis women who spend anyways 4 to 5 hours figuring how to do better. Plus fitness plays a very vital role. So I think men anyways are more fitness over there. It's difficult to get a 1% of composition when you see in a gym is men and 30% women. So.
Thank you very much. That's all I would say.